Hello, happy Halloween. Today we are going to be making copies of skulls using recycled number 2 plastic. If the skull you are copying is made of resin, concrete, or other materials that won't misshapen with heat, you can skip this part of the video to the 3-minute and 19-second mark. We are using a small plastic skull from the Dollar Tree. We are going to fortify ours with Plaster of Paris. You could possibly use other things like concrete, but we had this on hand. To mount your skull, start by marking where the pole will go. We recommend using PVC, wood, or metal tubing. Don't use cardboard, because cardboard and plaster of Paris will make a soggy mess. We chose to recycle an old shower curtain rod for ours. Ensure that you choose a sturdy base to mount your Field Master skull. We used wood for ours. If your skull doesn't have a place to pour in your plaster mix and insert your support pole, you can cut one using a hobby knife. Using a heat gun to heat the plastic will make shaping your opening and installing your mount much easier. Follow the directions on the container of material you are using to fortify your skull. We are using Plaster of Paris, which is mixed using 2 parts plaster and 1 part water. Use disposable mixing containers and absolutely do not rinse the plaster or mixing utensils in the sink. You will want to do this step quickly if the material you are using has a short working time. Be sure to fully fill your skull and ensure there are no air pockets or any unfilled areas. If you happen to make a mess, don't worry. Just be sure to wipe off any plaster that gets on your skull so you don't lose any important details later. Now, let it cure fully before moving on to the next step. Before placing the milk jug on, you can prep your master skull with a release agent like mold release spray or petroleum jelly. Using a hobby knife, carefully cut off the spout and handle. You may need to make a slit in the side as well to be able to fit the jug onto the skull. If your jug still has a sticker, you can use your heat gun to easily remove it. Get some ice water and a sponge ready. Be sure to secure the milk jug to your form using tape if necessary. It's much easier to form when it's snug and not moving around. Use your heat gun on high to heat the plastic until it turns clear in the area you want to shape. Submerge your sponge in the ice water, wring it out, and press it into the area to capture the details. It's best to start in one small area and work your way around the skull. You can reheat and try again with areas you aren't happy with. You can even use tools to help form smaller details. We kept some wooden pottery tools lying around for this. You may also want to use a pair of heat-resistant gloves to keep from burning yourself. To remove your creation from the master skull, you may have to cut a slit on the back side of your copy. You can glue the seams back together later with any type of plastic bonding adhesive. Trim any excess plastic, or use your heat gun to heat and fold the areas out of sight. Feel free to choose any color scheme. Don't be afraid to get creative with it. We are using cheap acrylic paints, a natural sponge for the base coat, and cheap brushes for the details and aging. First, paint a base coat in the color of your choice. We are using a color called bleach sand. Then, using the heat gun on very low heat, we dry each layer completely before moving on to the next. Grab your darker color and mix in a bit of water until you get roughly the same consistency seen here. Dab a bit of the mixture on the edges and in the cracks, creases, and low-lying areas to create contouring and bring out your details. You can use your finger to blend this in. Go heavy with this in the eye sockets and deeper areas. If you are having issue with drips, you can use the heat gun on low to stop them. For the teeth and gum line, we found it easier to first heavily darken the gum area and then go back and highlight each individual tooth. Here we are using watered down black paint in the eye sockets and nostrils to give them more depth. Now we are going to highlight the teeth by using our bleach sand color with a small flat brush. There isn't any need to water down this layer, so to save ourselves some cleanup, we are going to use a bit right out of the lid. plan to use these skulls inside and away from the elements, then congratulations, pat yourself on the back, you're done. If you plan to use them outside, however, we suggest that you put on a layer or two of clear coat. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, please like and subscribe, and say hello in the comments. Happy Halloween. Stay spooky.